Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary and explanation of the story from the event Zucchero Café, released in the game Girls Frontline 2, Exilium. Zucchero Café continues the story from the events Rhapsody Quartet and Amidst Wings of Grey. We open to Springfield and Centerese chatting at the Zucchero Café. On the surface, Zucchero Café is a popular hangout for locals. In secret, former dolls from Griffin use it as a secret clearinghouse to help their colleagues gather information and seek help. The dolls of Zucchero Café are excited because the commander is supposed to come by today. Just then, Dandelion calls saying things have gone wrong with the commander and she'll send coordinates soon. Cut to some black armored troops led by a woman named Lentine standing near an entrance underground. The troops wear the insignia of Manji security and seem to have been hired to destroy evidence of Paradius. Just then, Macchiato and Centerese break through the Manji troops' defenses and head through the entrance underground. With the armored troops following behind, Macchiato and Centerese soon reach the commander's position and break through the surrounding Manji troops. Dandelion then takes control of Helena's spheres and forces the floating Helena into her box form. Zhao Hui grabs the boxed Helena and everyone escapes towards the surface. They eventually make it to the surface and hop on a helicopter piloted by Sharkry. As they're flying away, Lentine spots the commander and seems to recognize him. Lentine orders all troops to stop pursuing and contacts an underground broker for information on the commander. Back on the helicopter, Sharkry is flying them to CHE-02, the satellite city where Zucchero Café is located. The commander is exhausted and falls asleep on the helicopter and dreams about Helena in a sea of flowers. They soon reach CHE-02 and go to a safe house. After a break, they chat with the second Helena. Side note, the second Helena is later named Melanie, so I'll call her Melanie from now on. Melanie says she doesn't remember anything other than what happened in the abandoned village. Niter and the Unitates called Melanie Lord. They said Melanie could help them find Kavatas and lead everyone to eternal life and freedom from pain. The Paradius experimented on Melanie and the villagers, turning all the villagers into monsters. Those monsters were then turned into Boojums. Those Boojums somehow obeyed Melanie, who was forced to obey Niter. Then one day, agents from the State Security Service tried to rescue Melanie, but failed and the agents ended up experimented on. These were the people the commander found in the glass tanks. After that, Melanie could do nothing but pray for rescue. Miraculously, Helena heard Melanie's prayers and came to her. Side note, this was around the time Helena broke out of the drone and flew away. Melanie says the minds of many Helenas once lived in a sea of flowers, like the one the commander dreamed about. The consciousness who possessed the commander's Helena was the first Helena. The first Helena has killed many of their fellow Helenas and seeks to be the only one of her kind. They end their conversation and we cut to some voices talking about the commander before cutting again to Zucchero Café. The commander is there chatting with the dolls. We learned after the commander left Griffin, his subordinates stayed at Griffin for a while before Kalina came by and encouraged them to leave. Just then, they get a call from Springfield's contacts warning them they are being watched and they should leave within the hour. Groza also calls and says the Elmo is being attacked by what looks like Manji security forces. Springfield then formulates a plan where she and Macchiato will escort the boxed Helena to Lviv while the commander and the rest of the dolls return to the Elmo. We move to the Elmo a little bit before Groza's call. The dolls are looking at Sexton's broken body. Sexton's neurocloud seems to have been scrubbed of important information. Groza decides to hack into a deeper layer of Sexton's neurocloud in hopes of finding information. Groza connects to Sexton's and sees memories of Sexton's being tortured and experimented on. Something then goes wrong and Mei Ling disconnects Groza. Mei Ling also gives an update on Klukai's location and they head over to her. As they're heading over, Groza notices Manji security forces are preparing to ambush them. Those forces are led by Lentine. Groza calls the commander who gives her new coordinates to retreat to and that he'll meet with her there with reinforcements. Groza then breaks through the ambushing force and heads to the commander's coordinates. On the way over, they are met with another ambush from Manji security forces and Groza and her squad head out to fight them. Things start looking bleak and Groza decides to carry some explosives into the enemy and blow herself up. There is an explosion. We move to the commander's perspective from a helicopter that has just spotted the Elmo. Mei Ling calls and updates the commander on what happened. The commander orders the dolls he came with to assist Groza's squad. The commander and Sharkry also join the battle in their helicopter. We move back to Groza's perspective. Turns out one of the enemy vehicles blew up before Groza could hit the detonator and blow herself up. While severely injured, Groza is alive and is soon rescued by Centerese and Diane's squad. At the sight of the new dolls joining the battle and the damage they've sustained, a frustrated Lentine orders the Manji security forces to withdraw. Sharkry soon picks up everyone in the helicopter and they return to the Elmo. Once there, Mei Ling takes Groza away for repairs and the commander chats with Dandelion. Dandelion says it seems there is a connection between Manji security, the Paradius experiments they saw underground, and what Clukai is investigating. Dandelion then connects a call for the commander from a former acquaintance named Deer. Later, Deer comes to the Elmo and meets with the commander. Deer immediately gets to work on the Elmo's communication systems, and they detect a looped distress call from the Survey Corps. Side note, the Survey Corps is an organization within the URNC government, like the NOMFA. Clukai was working with the Survey Corps. They backtrace the distress call to a location, and the commander orders Centerese and Diane's squad to investigate. Centerese and Diane's squad leave the Elmo, and the commander and Deer visit Groza in the repair bay. Groza is okay, and the commander introduces Deer. Deer then goes to work on Sextons and confirms someone deliberately destroyed parts of Sexton's neurocloud. Deer also discovers parts of Sexton's frame are fused with tissue and living cells. Just then, Melanie and Colfine arrive, and Melanie takes a look at Sextons. Melanie says she's seen dolls like Sextons before, and the fused cells are from Boojums. Suddenly, the cells in Sextons activate, and she starts self-repairing. Sextons reboots her neural cloud and wakes up. Sextons then asks the commander if they are Sexton's master. Deer explains Sextons has reverted to her default state and much of her past data has been cleared. The commander can now take actual ownership of Sextons, which would help them recover whatever data is left inside her neural cloud. The commander becomes Sexton's master, and Deer discovers Sextons is connected to Manji security forces and can provide their positions. Using their positions, they can deduce Clukai's location. Just then, Centerese calls and says they reached the coordinates and found only one critically injured survivor. They put the survivor on the call, and it's a Survey Corps trooper. The trooper says Manji security forces are attacking the rest of his platoon and asks the commander to help them. After the commander agrees, the trooper dies. Knowing that Clukai was working with the Survey Corps, they use Sextons to retrieve information on Manji security forces. They then use that information to figure out where the attack on the Survey Corps is likely taking place and figure Clukai must be there. The commander orders Groza and her squad to head over to what they think is Clukai's position and to bring Sextons with them. The commander also orders Centerese and Diane's squad to return to the Elmo. And that is the end of this event story in this video. If you like what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.